Special holiday episodes are always stupid. Cynical cash grabs by greedy corporations looking to squeeze a few extra Nielsen points out of sentimental claptrap for mush-brain idiots who'd rather spend their Christmas watching a fake family on TV than actually trying to have a conversation with their own dumb families.
I like it when people on TV hug each other.
The Christmas special. There's something magical and almost enchanting about the idea of the perfect Christmas special. Now I know for a lot of people, Christmas specials are a dime a dozen. Turn on ABC and bing bada boom, you got exactly what you asked for. Fact of the matter is, whether you love them or hate them, Christmas specials are here to stay. So, I'm going to go ahead and count my top favorite TV Christmas specials. And yeah, I know technically it's Hanukkah week or something like that. I'm sorry, my Jewish brethren. I wish I would have been able to make a video for you guys. Maybe next year. Or if you bug me now, maybe I'll make one before the end of the month. I don't know. Anyway, on with the show. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have overlooked this show completely if not for the fact that A, it was on the Fox lineup and I didn't have cable at the time, and B, I mean, the voice of Archer, working at a burger shop. And that's pretty much the gist of it. It's just him and his family living day to day. But on this particular episode, something magical happens. We open up on the episode where the kids are asking for presents that their parents, honestly, probably can't afford. Everything starts to look a little bleak for the family until they receive a special letter regarding their Uncle Ernie who had just passed away. I know, it'll get better. The upside being that apparently Uncle Ernie left them an inheritance. That's lucky. After serving themselves some fresh fruit punch, they discover that they inherited a storage bin. Could be worse. Money would have been better, but whatever. In enters Chet, a man who, up until that point, just seems to be living in their storage den, and apparently has no idea regarding personal space. Linda suggests that Chet should stay with them. I mean, who wouldn't welcome a stranger into their house? Bob, admittedly, is a little against it. That is until he finds out what rent on a storage unit is every month. And suddenly, Chet is living in Bob's basement. Well, temporarily, but it's still kind of a cool move. Bob continues to be unsure about this whole situation, but, I mean, what can you do? He's outvoted by the family. He's a big old softy on the inside. The next morning, the Belchers awaken to a very interesting surprise. Apparently, Chet set up a display, and not only that, he inserted himself into Seth's display. It's a little creepy at first, until it starts bringing in lots and lots of money. A few days go by as Chet decides to create multiple displays, leading up to Christmas. Now, if the story ended there, it's a little wholesome. But life isn't that easy, as the family discover Chet lamenting over some kind of lost love. At first it seems kind of sweet. That is until they discover a very crucial bit of information about his former lover. She herself was a store display, as well as explaining he was also a mannequin. Honestly, for a pair of two mannequins, it's kind of a sweet story. Bob, however, was less interested, going so far as to say to Chet that everything he remembered was probably just made up in his mind and he probably needs a little help. Chet didn't take this very well. The following day, his display is less spectacular, more... I can't think of a good horror name. But now wanting to see someone sad on Christmas, the kids decide to bind together and find his long-lost love. It's a really sweet story with a very wholesome and unselfish ending. If you've ever struggled or been heartbroken on Christmas, this is one of those episodes that really makes you want to believe the good in mankind, you know? And it's delivered in that witty yet subtle way that only Bob's Burgers can really do. Of course that was going to be on the list. It's one of my favorite TV shows and honestly one of my favorites to get intoxicated to. You want a fun game? Whenever the kids in the show get into a circle, grab your favorite substance and join them. It gets dangerous after a while. Actually, don't do that. I don't want to get sued for bad advice. Who's going to YouTube for advice anyway? I guess you guys are. I'm sorry, this is off topic. Though ironically on brand for me. That 70s show follows the cast of a group of teenagers who pretty much get into all matter of craziness, and it's kind of reminiscent of anyone who grew up in high school in America. I don't know about other countries, but here, it was kind of a badge of honor to do stupid things. I think that's just part of being a teenager. We open up the episode with Eric lamenting the fact that he misses how cool Christmas used to be, and how much it sucks now. Kitty, Eric's mom, will not have any of that, as she decides to volunteer Eric to direct the Christmas pageant at the nearby church, and how she signed up literally everyone in that group, even Hyde. Can't write me off of the show this time, motherfucker. Later, as the group gathers up at the church, it becomes insanely clear that none of them really have their hearts set on any of it. Not without modifying their roles anyway. Kelso becomes obsessed with being in space, some of them want to be the main character, and all of them just don't want to do anything at all. So it falls on to Eric to keep this group together. And the stress just builds up. Eric is at his wit's end, and is about to give up the play altogether. That is until he hears some very deep and insightful words from Leo.
This pageant's your chance to spread some Christmas spirit, and that's contagious like VD.
Reinvigorated by Leo's words, Eric decides to march back into the church and tell his friends what's what. But in the crossfire of doing so, he is caught with his friends smoking, cannabis. Let's say that. And Eric gets kicked off of being the director. This, however, doesn't go well for the new directors, as the group kind of takes advantage of them. And just as they're about to light up the church youth pastor, Leo comes in and says another deep thing.
You know, you guys can hassle your skinny friend Eric, but when it comes down to a fundamental moral core, he's the only one of you that's got one. So congratulations. You ruined Christmas.
Man, he is on fire. Needless to say, the kids learn their lesson and something magical happens at the end. Oh man. I love that 70s show because it feels like in the Christmas special, you really get to see their idiosyncrasies really exposed. And around the holidays, that happens. Humans become their truest selves when they're at the peak of their stress. And holidays, well, that's the most stressful time of the year. Episode ends on a really touching note. You're probably wondering, why did the episode get all fuzzy? Well, you see, it had this really cool ending and climax to this video where it was going to be super emotional and The Office was going to be my final choice, and I had it all lined up and I thought it was going to be wicked awesome. But I was copyright striked every single time. And when I appealed it, NBC Universal decided, hey, you still don't get to put your video back up. It sucks because I really care about this show, and the clips that I used were muted. They were being used to educate my audience and also to kind of critique the work. It feels like, I don't know, that should be covered under something, right? I'm going to cut to the end of the video now, but if you want to see my full uncut remix, I'm going to upload it elsewhere, and I don't know, maybe throw the link in the description. Sorry about this, guys. I really wish YouTube wasn't this broken, but apparently there's not much I can do without getting a copyright strike on my channel, and as a small-time YouTuber, this really blows. Merry Christmas. You see, when I was growing up, I was always the black sheep of my family, so whenever I got to celebrate Christmas, I usually celebrated it with friends or usually co-workers, and this reminds me of those Christmas parties. It's a lot of fun. There's something weird and almost humbling being able to party and get down with people that you've never ever met, or rather, the people who aren't part of your family. You have met them because you work with them. But I think that's how The Office wins here. Because we all have that jerky boss, or maybe not a jerky boss, but maybe we have that annoying, uptight coworker, or the big guy in the back who's just a little bit slower than most. The Office does a perfect job, especially this episode, of capturing the feeling of working during the holidays. And if you have to this year, I am so sorry. Maybe next week or the next 2 weeks I'll make a video regarding, working during Christmas. But for right now, that's my top 5. And hey, what's the point of transdimensional travel if you can't share with a few friends, eh? Later.